Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are talking about what happens and what to do when a friend just grows apart. Recently I talked about how sometimes you have to get rid of friends that are no longer friends in your life. You have to get some distance. You got to get away from these people. They have changed. But today I want to focus on the idea of basically a friend not wanting to be your friend anymore. This is a phenomenon that unfortunately happens to all of us. Unfortunately, it can send us spiraling. It can make us go crazy. We can constantly ask ourselves, like, what did we do wrong? How could we fix it? Maybe we can repair it, build the bridge back together. And basically, like, how you can also not take it super personally. I like to think in life that really nothing is personal. A lot of these things have a lot of different reasons to it, and it's not just because we change our hair or we suddenly start acting differently, although that can be the case. But we don't always stay friends with someone forever. We often just fall apart. We grow differently. We get older. We figure out, oh, hey, actually, I don't want this. And in the same way that it's totally okay to get rid of a friend that is no longer a friend, it's totally fine to do that. It's totally fine to decide one day, you know what, I don't have anything really in common with this person anymore. I think it's time to call it. Sometimes that happens to us, and sometimes we are shocked by it. Sometimes we see it coming. But oftentimes you won't get a lot of closure. I would say that in the moments that you do get closure, like a friend sits you down and says, like, hey, like, I really think we're at different points in our life. We're looking for different things. We're trying to branch out a little too differently. In those moments, I think you should try and be as communicative and respectful and polite as possible. Obviously, I think that should be a standard. But like I said, you can't really take these things personally. Sometimes the person will totally blame you and say, you know what, I can't hang out with you anymore. I can't stand always going out drinking or dancing, or, you have kids now and that's just not part of my life. And obviously, I always advocate for trying to make a friendship work, trying to see the best in the person. Obviously, there was something that made you want to be friends with them in the first place. But if someone's truly done being your friend, I think you should absolutely let them go off on your own. They can do their own thing, and it can be this mutual thing. However, most of the time, when someone is done being your friend, when they have grown apart and they want to do their own thing and they want to just let you go off and do your own thing, most of the time you will not get closure. You will not get an explanation. Maybe you'll text them a few times saying, like, hey, we should hang out, and you don't hear anything, or they give you some fake little excuse like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy, or whatever. And I feel like that's the more common response in this day and age. I think a lot of us are hesitant and very scared to lose friends or get rid of friends. So this process typically takes a few weeks or months to really solidify it. And then it's like, oh no, I used to be friends with them. I used to be close with them. But like I said, don't take it personally. These things, maybe there is something that you did or that you haven't done that results in this person wanting some space, wanting to no longer be friends. But 9 times out of 10, it's their own voice in their head. It's their own process. Maybe they moved and they're not somebody who can have friends at long distances. Maybe you said something that frustrated them. Maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't say the thing that you were supposed to say, or you didn't reach out when they were going through something and you had no idea they were going through it. So what I'm trying to say is most of the time, it really isn't something you should take personally. It is just something that we all encounter, and for lack of a better explanation, you just have to carry on with your own life. You can't let it drag you down or, drastically change your behavior, unless of course you think your behavior was a direct cause of it, in which case you get to look at your own life and say, is this a change that I'm comfortable with? Am I okay with losing this friend? Have I done something that is really unspeakable or horrible, because most of the time it's not that. Most of the time it's just you have grown apart. We all reach a point in our lives where we are looking for something new. You know, some people want to start a family. Some people want to focus on their career. Some people want to go back to school or start school or whatever it might be. But the idea of letting it become this personal offense to yourself or to your character is something that I think is almost always unhealthy. It's not the valid response to deal with. Sometimes friends just grow apart. Sometimes we just don't vibe with each other as well as we used to. And from my experience, I can tell you that I wish these people the best, these people that ghosted me or disappeared. I wish them the best, but I don't lose sleep over them. I don't lose, you know, my mental health or how I feel about myself just because these people have decided, oh, you know what, I don't really need this. Like I want something different. Like Jax is okay, but he's just always so bubbly or positive or whatever, or maybe he's toxic or whatever, you know. Like you can't self-analyze yourself into nothing. It's like you're microscopically picking at every single cell in your body. You can't do that. You can't try and please everyone. You can't try and make everyone super happy. At the absolute worst, if you're someone who overthinks this kind of stuff and you're just like, why? You can always just very politely reach out and say like, hey, like, I've noticed that like you don't really want to hang out anymore. I was just wondering, like, is it a me thing or whatever? And if you really want a response, maybe you'll get one, but do not hang your hat on that idea. Do not hang your whole hope and psychological well-being based off of getting an explanation, because unfortunately in life, we do not get explanations as often as we'd like. We do not get a clean-cut report of what we've done or how we're doing. So you just kind of have to go with whatever the river, the current is taking you. And sometimes that means losing a friend. Just like you have every right to pick and choose your friends and decide who you want to be close with and who you want to share your life with, everyone else gets that choice too. And I know it can be very frustrating and it can suck a lot, but it's just something that happens. Something you can do, there's a few things you can do to prevent this, although I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes people just grow apart and you don't really want to be part of their lives either. That happens too, where it's like a mutual, like, okay, we're going off on different directions, that's fine. But if you really want to prevent this, I recommend checking in with your friends often, seeing how they're doing, you know, if they're posting something really moody on Instagram or if they haven't been hanging out with you for the last few months. Never hurts to just text them and say, hey, I was thinking about you. How's it going? Another thing I like to do, and this is a big thing in my life, is cultivating friendships that are fine being long distance. I know I've said it before, but most of my friends don't live in the same place I do. Well, actually, none of them live in there because I live on a farm, but the vast majority of my friends live around the world, you know, like 8 hours away, a 5-hour plane ride, a 6-hour drive. And I've always cultivated friendships that it doesn't matter how long you've been away from them. When you get back together, it feels like no time has passed. And these friends will live their lives. They'll go off and do their thing for like 8 months, and I'll come back and I'll get the recap and I'll get the fun stories and the crazy things that they did. And I think it's a good way of preventing this kind of like friendship burnout thing, because it's really easy to burn out a friend. It's really easy to invest all your time and energy into one friend, and then that friend just feels overwhelmed. They feel like every time you call them, it's work. So don't try and rely on your friends like a crutch. Don't try and make them the center of your world, and don't do it the opposite way as well. Like, don't put them on this pedestal that they're gonna fix it, they're gonna hear you out. Nobody wants a friendship that is 99% work and 1% fun. Everyone wants an equal, honest relationship. So if you don't want to be broken up with by a friend, make sure your relationship is an even 50-50. 50 good, 50 bad, 50 your side, 50 their side. Don't be dependent. Don't rely on them. Don't, call them at 2 a.m. every single night and say, oh my God, like I need help. Like that kind of stuff gets old very quickly, and It's one of the reasons that we get rid of friends in the first place. So don't take it personally. Don't rely too heavily. And at the end of the day, communication. Just talk to them. Just be honest. Ask them how the relationship is going. It's okay. You don't have to always be so micro in your managing. You can be meta. You can say, how are we doing? I know it's a weird question, but am I overtaxing? Am I overbearing? Do I call you 400 times a day? Like, your friends will be honest with you, and if they're true friends, they'll get that. So that's my advice. I'm sorry if you've lost a friend recently because of any situation. It sucks. It's really not fun. But at the same time, don't take it personally. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, I will talk to you guys in the next one.